Hey everyone, I am Nicole Borwich, and this is my final iJot presentation for Ed 717, Adult Learning. My topic or my lesson design was about leaders versus managers and the differences between and kind of teaching people, how to effectively lead people versus manage them. So my intended outcome is being a true leader. Everyone, understands the concept of leadership, but what does it really mean and how can they incorporate it into their personal and professional lives? I would want them to learn tools they can bring back to their jobs or home life in being an effective leader. And I would also want them to be able to recognize traits and characteristics of people in their own lives that have been an effective leader, or when they see those traits being exemplified, they can pick it out right off the bat. I would also have them explain their rationale as to why they feel like those people were being a true leader as opposed to a manager. And I think one of the biggest differences between that I would want them to kind of understand is that it's leaders versus managers is basically the difference between giving direction and giving directions. Like giving direction, a leader would kind of tell people what the end goal is, kind of set them off on their own, versus a manager would give directions, very specific steps to follow to get somewhere. Like, this is what I want you to do now, later, after that, boom, boom, boom. So like I said, direction versus directions. Lesson details, some of the strategies from the Sit and Get book, the textbook that we have for class. One would be brainstorming and discussion. This will be when students start to think about examples that they have experienced in their own lives. Strategy number 14, which was role playing. That would be a perfect way for those who like to be more involved and those vocal learners. They can set up a situation and how they would react or how they could exemplify being a leader in that situation. Strategy 15 could also be used in that storytelling. That would go along with the verbal responses of situations they have encountered and then sharing that with the class. The final one would be strategy number 19, which is work study, action research, and professional learning communities. I am hoping to have them kind of develop a support group, and that can be personal or professional depending on kind of where they're at in their life stage, but teaching them the basic concepts of LinkedIn and have them find 5 to 10 people to kind of connect with on that site. And that kind of blends into strategy 16, which was technology as well. Assessment, I would ask the students for a situational example of a response that was given to them. It could also be a time that they themselves felt that they fell into either a managerial or leadership role and what they could have done differently to improve the situation if it was maybe the managerial side of things. Obviously, we want them to be leaders, but recognizing a time that they weren't could almost be more beneficial because, if that situation comes up in the future, they can kind of know in the back of their minds how to deal with it at that point. I just have some notes here. So further support, if students aren't understanding these concepts right off the bat, I could repeat specific points for them. And some of them might also learn in a different format than the one that I presented with. So instead of sharing an example live with the class, maybe they just want to submit, like a short written summary citing the situation. As not all people are comfortable kind of storytelling in front of the class. So that would be an option for them. Or perhaps, they don't have as much life experience to kind of draw those examples from. So they could just come up with a theoretical example and that would suffice as well. And then when the students are grasping the concepts, I would like to use positive reinforcement. Students should be, working towards something that's attainable, but just kind of out of reach. And once they feel that they've understood the concept, they should kind of gain some personal satisfaction out of it as well. So basically, predicted outcome, I want them to be comfortable with the concepts and be able to differentiate between leaders and managers. And then, like I said, kind of have that top of mind so that when they see situations in real life, when they're out living, they can kind of be able to draw from that. And so, I don't know if a lot of leaders really know they're being leaders in the moment. So it's kind of one of those things that if it were a default would be the best. So that's kind of just some details about the lesson template that I put together. And this class has been great. If you have any questions on any of this, feel free to give me some feedback. But this class was fantastic. So thank you very much.